Hi there, this is Oli Mweng again from Sandton venue of the 2019 Brand Summit South Africa. Since yesterday, we've been having some truly amazing conversations from speakers coming from South Africa, other parts of Africa and the rest of the world. But I don't want to take the words out of their mouths. I think it's better that we hear it directly from them.
We've developed a model that allows us to anticipate reputation risks in such a way that companies can, or organizations or nations can prepare for those risks, mitigate them, anticipate them, and have sophisticated responses should they materialize.
Nation branding is not PR, and it is certainly not propaganda. Nation branding is the business of reputation management. For South Africa, it's crucial for our survival, for building our brand, our presence, influence, and controlling the narrative around South Africa globally.
Today we're talking about the importance of country and geography when it comes to branding. I think that will cover things, and then we'll show how branding now permeates every aspect of life that we're involved in.
Building a reputation of a company, of a country and a continent is every single individual's responsibility as well. How are we going to be making a difference?
Actually, we know countries through three main channels. First, media. Second, education. From the first steps of our school time, we perceive world. We perceive countries through our school books. And third is culture.
So our discussion today was around marketing South Africa globally as a tourist destination. What are the challenges? What are the opportunities? What is it that we need to do better as a country in terms of managing our reputation as a brand?
We perceive countries through culture. Culture means meals, traditions, artists, and so it's the full, soft power assets of the country.
What we were talking about today is how to build a destination brand, and some of the elements that we think are important are helping to align the different authorities between city, provincial, regional level and national, and make sure that where you might have multiple messengers, that their messages are aligned.
What is it that we need to do to make sure that we remove those barriers of entry for people to be able to come to this country? Because we can't just market the country and throw in a lot of money if we don't remove those barriers to entry. So that is the discussion that we're having, opportunities, threats, and the brand reputation of our country when we market it as a tourist destination.
Public hospitals continue to fail the poor and the vulnerable, and the last two, that we are failing to invest in crucial infrastructure, and lawlessness has now become an epidemic.
Number two, the importance of getting business to become a key messenger, where their words are much more credible than government agencies paid to promote a destination. If business, and particularly tourism business, are out there promoting the destination, that's a much more effective effort.
The future of this country is very bright. We must continue to be a caring society, and that focuses itself single-mindedly on dealing with matters of inequality, poverty, unemployment, whilst at the same time fighting corruption and being focused on growing the economy.
There is no doubt that all of us collectively have failed in eradicating the legacy of apartheid. The proof point is the fact that the economy is on its knees, that black young graduates are roaming the streets hopelessly, that public education has collapsed.
My contribution today was about how we can grow South African brands outside of South Africa, and how we can bring the investment into the country and the visitors into the country.
The risks that are there must be tackled head on with the citizenry that is active. Its spirit must not be tempered.
We're one of the sponsors of today's Brand Summit, and this is all about changing the narrative for South Africa, particularly around the corporate responsibility and governance issues that South Africa is challenging in the corporate environment.
We have found that a lot of African countries find South African business to be somewhat arrogant, and that's one of the reasons why they often fail. But if you go in there with the attitude of, we have an idea that we'd like to share with you, what is your idea and how can we help you achieve that? we find that that actually gives us traction immediately and has allowed us to expand quite incredibly throughout the whole of Africa. Our big objective is that we want to try and get $250 million a year investment into Africa for the next 10 years in order to build infrastructure at universities.
The focus of our presentation today was basically on looking at the democratic project, how far it has moved since 1994 up to now. And I think there's a lot of progress that has been made.
I've been invited to the South African Brand Summit, and it's been incredibly interesting. One of the things that we've learned from this summit and from my experience in Africa is that we must go into Africa with the idea that we're going to go there and not do things to Africa, but rather going to do things with Africa.
There are weaknesses that have got to be dealt with, and hopefully as a country we'll have an opportunity to reflect on those issues and be able to come up with some kind of ideas that can address those issues.
I think this was, this is a very important event where we try and sort of talk about the brand of South Africa, you know, how we should position South Africa in the eyes of the world. And I think that the conversations that have taken place today are very much fundamental towards understanding what brand we should create, how we should position ourselves in the world.
Building and strengthening the South African brand is not just the duty of the government, it is not just the duty of the marketers of the country such as Brand SA and so on.
I think the political discussion I was involved in was very much insightful, very much a lot was spoken about in terms of looking into the political, economic challenges that we face and we are likely to face as well.
It is also the duty of corporates who should be out there flying the flag, making sure that South Africa is seen as a country with whom we can do business, a country where the people want to visit, a country that wants to be a winner in the world. And so it is important that the business, both big and small, play its role in promoting the South African brand.
How do we see ourselves as a nation? And in my view, my conversation was more about an ethical, much more responsible country and people that we need to see, we need to produce. And this is a conversation that contributes to that. And I'm very, very excited being part of it.
I came to South Africa some time back, like 12 years ago. I live and work in Cape Town for Addis in Cape Ethiopian restaurant.
Basically for me, I don't think the political landscape is positive. In my view, I think there are many forces that will be sort of destructive to our economy, to our society over the long term, and therefore there's got to be a change of things. And I'm glad that this conversation took place here at the SA Brand Summit, and we hope that whatever was discussed here isn't going to stay here. It's going to go to the rest of South Africa and to the rest of the world.
I come to this country because we really have a high expectation, and we think of South Africa as a great country for its infrastructure.
I was dealing with the topic of how do we as a nation brand, what do we do in the context of Africa to better market ourselves? And my main contribution was around the area of saying we really need to take hold of our leadership position in Africa as a nation, as a brand.
My contribution today was indeed a deep honor to participate in the active debates and relevant debates that are taking place during the Brand Summit Forum. My contribution focused on what is needed to take the South African road forward.
We've been endowed with many, many opportunities, with many huge economic, social, as well as cultural assets. And we need to market that in the continent and be intentional and take up our leadership position as a country on the continent to say this is what South Africa is about, and this is what South Africa as a leading nation in Africa can achieve.
Was to talk about the fact that young people need to be at decision-making platforms where you're talking about the fourth industrial revolution and the impact that it has on youth employment opportunities in South Africa.
So to go from a transactional discussion and debate to a transformational debate where we can create a social economy that is for everybody.
So I was here coming from that context to talk about the fourth industrial revolution with another group of young people. And there were many themes: innovation, education, the economy, development. and lessons that could be drawn from other parts of the world.
I just participated in the panel for the audit profession, and we really spoke about the role of the profession, its mandate, its contribution it can make in brand SA reputation, but also the reforms that the profession needs to undertake to get itself in a position where it's trusted and provides confidence for the country.
So the main sort of thrust, I think, of what I brought to the table was that the technological change should be informed by a certain attitude to development, not only ambition but even aggression.
There you've got it, folks. 2 wonderful days of amazing conversations with amazing speakers from all over the place in the 2019 Brand Summit South Africa here in Johannesburg. We look forward to seeing you at the next one next year.